Hello, dear fellows of Liberty for Cuba. Today we release chapters 8, Feeding Frenzy, and 9, Regular Inspection. Remember to like, subscribe, and share to help our channel grow. Chapter 8, Feeding Frenzy.
It is a lot to take in. Then, the gliding pod disappears into the vast gray sky. I cannot believe what I just saw. Ernesto requested me to be ready, because more tourists were coming for the feeding feast of the month, according to the program, where we all took part alongside Sandro's family. Ernesto explained that tourists buy food for us up in the skies and then get closer to toss it down for us. He says that any food is good and will not harm us. We are protected and immunized thanks to the Prophet's legacy, and will. In the meantime, he says we should cover ourselves in the cave because a storm is coming, and it's unsafe. I feel much better now and sit on a rock, leaning against the cave wall with my head pointing upwards. Loud thunderclaps started, and the heavy wind blew dust and soil from outside. It looked like hell out there. It was indeed a scary sight. Ernesto and the rest remained silent while waiting for the storm to end. Everything coming to my mind was the picture of the trip and the tourists watching us from above. It was recorded in my mind forever. The storm ended, and there were voices outside the cave approaching. We all came out of the cave and were greeted by around 15 men. They all had similar features on their faces. I asked Ernesto, "Why do they all look so much alike?" Ernesto replied, "They are the Sandro brothers, all boys." Their mother complied with the procreation plan. "Where is their mother?" I asked. "Their mother was old and served well in other duties of our revolution." I did not fully understand what Ernesto was trying to say, so I just supposed that she had passed away. Then, flying pods suddenly showed up 200 feet above us. The then brothers ran to gather space across the plain. The tourists aboard the flying pods started throwing bags with food inside. With excited expressions, Ernesto, the brothers, and the rest began to run to catch the bags of food. After that, many started to fight, scratching each other, yelling and yelping. The feast lasted for 20 or 30 minutes. Once the feeding feast ended, the flying pods climbed up and disappeared in the gray skies. Many men got several food bags and ran away happily. Others, like me, got nothing. I was too busy noting what my life as a Cuban would now be like here. I directed my eyes towards Ernesto. He looked like he had been scratched on his shoulders and face. He gasped at me and said, "This feast is part of our daily life. Don't be shy and join. Food is fuel." He looked up and exclaimed, "The storm is coming back. Let's go inside."
And here is Chapter 9, Regular Inspection. Remember to like, subscribe, and share to help our channel grow.
Ernesto is sitting breathless inside the cave, looking all around him. I'm sitting far away from him. He places the bags of food in front of him and voraciously eats the collected food with his dirty hands. There is little to do inside the cave. All of these episodes inside my head are rumbling round and round. I need a way out of this. I noticed the cave bed has soft, dark soil. I pinched some of it with my fingers, added some saliva, faced the wall of the cave, and using my thumb, I found that I could draw a circle on it. I gazed up and around and realized I had a large wall to draw across. Ernesto finished his feast and came over to me. "What are you doing?" he asked in a threatening tone. I was about to say something when a loud metal alarm call was heard. Ernesto took me by my arm and pulled me out of the cave. It was already dark. We could hear the metallic call once more, and I could see more people marching towards the direction of the sound. Ernesto said, When you hear this call, you must attend. There is no justification for it. Indeed, we joined a mass of humans in a vast square where several drones were scanning people using a beam of light. Everyone was standing and talking in very low voices while the drones glided above the crowd. I realized that the scan was only directed to women. I approached Ernesto and asked, "Why do the drones only scan women?" Ernesto stared at me severely before saying, "The drones sent from the skies ensure women are accomplishing their promise to the revolution." "What did they promise?" I asked. "They must all create the future generation of revolutionaries. So the drones' work is to have accountability of the young and old impregnated and at the same time make as aware of it." Ernesto added, "The Prophet had created a safe gestation of our women to safeguard our revolution from the outside evil enemy. All territories of the island are doing the same thing right now." "How do you know?" I asked. While looking at the horizon where the beams of light coming from the drones faded, Ernesto replied, "I was one of the young that were selected and trained to help the rest understand the code sent through the beams of light of the drones. Codes that most of us know, but we need to have someone decode them for the rest. There is one of us for every 5 heads," concluded Ernesto. I could not believe what my eyes were watching and my ears were hearing. This is a very organized system where there is no difference to the treatment of animals in a zoo in ancient times. The conclusion in my head was that this reality must be learned.